In today's video, we're talking about what may be the most disgusting drama that's happened online in the last 5 years, because all of this revolves around a 6-month-old baby's funeral. So there are two people involved in this story. There is Veruca, who has 1.2 million followers on TikTok, and Tasha, who has 300,000 followers on TikTok. Now, Veruca gave birth to a very beautiful baby at the end of 2023. She had done a lot of content leading up to this. She has made content for a very long time. So of course it makes sense that she's covering a big life event. And then at some point in early 2024, that baby died from SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. Nobody really knows what causes it, and it's a fucking terrifying thing. Veruca did a funeral for this baby and invited friends and family. And I guess leading up to the service, one of the people who she invited to the funeral was filming a get ready with me, basically a vlog covering what was going on. That person is Tasha. And since she has deleted this TikTok because she's gotten a lot of backlash because she vlogged a baby's funeral, but luckily enough for us, Reddit has an archive. The audio in this is really, really bad. It seems like she's directly blowing her air conditioning in her car into the microphone, but bear with me.
And now I just got some Don Julio. I don't know how to say this shit. I don't actually drink tequila, but she's gonna need it.
Okay, first off, she's not going to need it. That's a terrible idea. I don't think that we should be giving alcohol, a very addictive substance, to somebody who's going through what seems like the most depressing time of their life ever. It will most likely never get worse than this. And just before we continue, you may be wondering, why haven't I heard about this? And it's because this happened in Australia. For some reason, none of the US commentary channels have talked about this, but I feel like I have to. This is one of the craziest things I've ever seen, with terrible audio.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a pretty heavy day. I've been to funerals before, but never for a baby. So it's just, yeah.
Great content. I've been to funerals before, but never for a baby, so it's just, yeah. And the gift that she's bringing is Don Julio tequila. That's good. I don't know if we should be in our car playing with our hair frivolously while talking about the death of a friend's baby.
I know. That's not a lot to say, to be honest.
All right, no, stop. There is not a lot to say, to be honest. So why are we doing this? It's so fucking sad. Here's the funeral, I guess. This is actually going to come back. The hearse that's carrying this child is going to come back for like the worst reason possible. What I noticed here that I thought was kind of interesting, nobody else has phones. Nobody else is recording. And this girl's eyes slowly glance at the camera because what the fuck? All of this got swept under the rug. Luckily enough for Tasha, Veruca, the one whose child died, hadn't been in contact with her because of that fuck shit recording the baby's funeral. She hadn't told her anything. She was just like, all right, I'm going to leave it alone. And then 6 months later, Tasha releases a video talking about an ex-friend not being thankful for a gift that she brought her at a function. I'm not fucking kidding.
Do you know what frustrates me for real is that there was this person that I was friends with because they asked to hang out with me and I knew they didn't have that many friends.
They asked to hang out with me and I knew they didn't have that many friends. Off to a great start.
So I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And like, also it's good to make new friends. Long story short, I become friends with this person. They then invite me to, you know, a function. I go because I'm like, oh, they invited me. I want to go be a good person.
It is unbelievable to me that any of this is happening. I have never seen shit like this on the internet ever. She invites me to a function and I'm like, oh, like, sure, I guess. I don't really want to go, but it's fine.
So I go. I spend all this money on gifts for the function. In question, give it to them, forget to buy a card, don't get any thank you. Never get any thank yous. They find out some bad news. I send them flowers, teddies, all this shit. And I'm made out to be the bad person. And it's just like, it's just so funny. Because, bitch, I choose not to say anything. But it's just like, people stir shit, they stir the pot, and I'm like, stop stirring, because I'll make it boil, honestly. Like, just...
So the thing that comes up in her life, the sad thing, is the death of the baby. Yeah, and she's made out to be the bad person for no reason, but it literally seems like Veruca said nothing up until this point, and she's just continuing to bring shit up because she wants some weird clout. And this is where it gets even crazier, because Veruca, the one whose baby passed, responded with a singular video of Tasha giving a speech that she was asked not to give prior to the funeral, pissed drunk, and it ends with her sexualizing the dead baby. The funeral director, prior to this video, asked if anybody wanted to say any words. Tasha speaks up and says, "We can say something." She gets up and does a speech.
I can say something.
Mind you, I believe this is Veruca's mother. These are actual family members talking about memories and how this little kid had an impact on them. She walks in front of everyone. Everybody was doing their own speeches, looking at the casket. She walks up to the casket, to the hearse, leans up against the hearse, and does this.
Pleasure to meet Cash because of my own circumstances.
She starts out by saying, "I never had the pleasure to meet Cash because of circumstances." It seems like she was, to be honest, like a pity invite. She never met this kid. She may have been nice to Veruca while she was dealing with this shit, but like, you're not an integral part of the family, it seems. These are family members. These aren't fucking influencers. You shouldn't pull this shit.
But I know how much of a mother and how much she blossomed during that period of time.
As this goes on, people are literally looking around waiting for her to shut the fuck up. She's leaning against the hearse, up against what's holding this baby's fucking casket. And then she ends her speech with this.
Live with like forever laughing pussy and peace.
May him live with forever lasting pussy and peace. And then somebody responds, "Girl, he's a baby." After Veruca posts this, it's pretty much like a "you're fucking done" over with to Tasha anyways. She comes out with a 9-minute response. She says some classics like,
That was my thought process. I'm not saying that's how people think, but that was my own thought process. She told me her favorite type of tequila. I don't even drink tequila. I went out, I bought the tequila, and then that's what I rocked up to the funeral with. Although people suggest that tequila isn't a good thing to give to a grieving mother.
Sure.
For one, I didn't know that apparently she had substance abuse issues in the past.
Apparently, she had substance abuse issues in the past. I mean, I guess apparently somebody said that she's had a history of abusing alcohol.
Everyone then came at me for, they're like, "Why would you give alcohol to someone that used to be an alcoholic?" Bitch, I've only known this person for like 6 months. How the fuck am I supposed to know that? But anyway, I get to the funeral, I give her the gift that I bought, and then yeah, she's like, "Okay, well, should we do shots?" Once I got to the funeral, there was already like 2 massive slushy machines filled with vodka to the brim. There was vodka everywhere. Everyone was drinking. In the video I posted yesterday where I was ranting about the gift thing, that wasn't referring to any gifts from a funeral or for the funeral. It was referring to the gifts from the baby shower.
Got it.
Because I was like, this bitch is having a baby. I know people with babies. I raised children when I was growing up. I raised my siblings. So I was just like, I pretty much got her all the basic shit that I thought she would need.
And she didn't say thank you. So, I mean, yeah, that's terrible. Like, she didn't say thank you after the baby died.
And that's what I was upset I didn't get a thank you about. This was all prior to the funeral.
Okay.
So this has nothing to do with the funeral. This is how I felt before the funeral.
Right, but then also saying that she's an ex-friend and saying all this crazy shit about like, bitch, I could boil the fucking water if you wanted to. It's like, maybe leave her alone.
But I put it aside once I found out everything happened. And I was like, fuck, I need to put my feelings aside to be there for this
But you
person.
recorded the video!
Yeah, I got super emotional. My emotions were super heightened. And yeah, I had a lot of unresolved shit going on that I didn't realize. But the thing is, at the end of the day, is I didn't know that in my head. And I'm apologetic. I apologize to her. So everyone that's commenting in fucking my things whatever you're commenting on. I did apologize to her. I sent her messages. I obviously wasn't gonna go up to her face and be like, I'm sorry, and like force her to see me say sorry. But yeah, I reached out to her. I sent several messages.
Did you call her? I would assume that like after your baby dies, your phone blows up. I don't know if you're the priority. And like, even if people were drinking at the funeral, that's odd, but it's a way to cope, especially as someone with alcohol abuse issues. I feel like of all places, a funeral of a little baby should be the place that you should know your fucking tolerance, though.
And apparently I accidentally flashed my pink undies. I don't know. I am human. I'm an adult. I made a mistake. I'm still learning to navigate this life. I'm accountable for it.
And by the way, she flashed her pink undies because she was wearing a really short dress to a baby's funeral. I'm not here to police what people should dress like. Look up, what do I wear to funeral? And if what you've picked out is not anywhere on the first 1,800 pages of Google search images, then maybe don't do it. And then we're almost done, I promise. She gets a response on that TikTok that says, we need your receipts now. This is what Tasha says.
I got the receipts, my fleet's messages, but I went on my laptop and I found them, so here they are. So these are the messages that weren't shown. I've shown you from I'll Be There Beautiful because
Okay, I'll be there beautiful. Let me know your favorite alcohol, please. And then she says the tequila. It's not that she mentioned ahead of time. Veruca said, hey, I need tequila. She was the one who offered. This was prior to finding out that there was alcohol at the event.
The message above that had her address in it and all the details for the funeral, and I don't want to put that in here. But I then went on to said, you know, love you, here for you. I'll see you there. Reach out if you need anything. I then reached out on the day of the funeral and let her know about the TikTok.
I posted a TikTok of today just in honor of Cash, but if you feel like it's inappropriate in any way or don't want it online, please let me know so I can take it down, mainly showing the entry sign balloons, but people are commenting, so just let me know. Girl, the day after her fucking kid's funeral, I don't think she's willing to be your content strategist.
I then reached out to her when her Instagram account got deleted, and then I reached out again saying, again, I am sorry, I'm aware of my actions, and they weren't okay.
But it happened at the worst place possible, and then you made a video 6 months later about her bringing shit back up. And then it gets worse and worse. Veruca posted this. It was a response to her being like, I'm sorry I got drunk. She's saying that she completely ruined her son's funeral. And then she has a full statement about 6 months later about how this girl wants to make it about herself. She talks in detail about the autopsy process, the embalming process, and how she was not mentally there the month after that had happened. She was drinking every single day after her son had passed. She had to warn people of what her son's face looked like. She couldn't allow more than 3 people in the room at a time because of body heat. She didn't want guests to touch him, but if they felt the urge, they could touch his clothes. Apparently, Tasha, as Veruca's walking around the service, gives her shots. She says how nobody forced her to drink. She followed her around the entire funeral, being extremely inappropriate. Then outside, she's in the backyard with some people, and Tasha is on the floor in a mini skirt, legs spread, talking about getting cream pied. My 7-year-old sister was playing on the grass with my stepdad. My stepdad takes her in, obviously, because why the fuck is a girl spread-legged on the floor talking about getting cream pied in front of a 7-year-old girl? She follows her back in. She's talking to her son's babysitter about how the food is so good that she actually wants to eat it, even though she has an eating disorder. Tasha walks into the bedroom with the body of the baby and takes a photo and touches him on the clothes. Then it gets to the speech part where Tasha volunteers to speak. Veruca says, I don't need you to speak. If you need to talk about your feelings, you can just talk to me. Apparently the entire funeral, she would not stop talking about her abortion, her voluntary abortion that she vlogged the process of. Apparently after Veruca's midwife delivered a beautiful speech, Tasha decides to do her speech where she says that she's been going through a lot of stuff on her own. She's drunk and leaning on the hearse with my dead son inside, talking about herself mostly. And then she says, he's going to get so much pussy in heaven. And then Veruca responded with, girl, he's a baby. Tasha grabs Veruca by the arm and says he has so many hot bitches at his funeral. She closes with, she came for attention. She wanted attention at the funeral. She wanted attention online for being there. And now 6 months later, she wants attention again. There is no amount of texted apologies that will have me forgiving you. You ruined my son's funeral and posted about it before I did. And then after that statement, Tasha posts something about how she's getting all these death threats and how she's going to sue people. And that's really the end of this story. It's absolutely insane. Just from a human level, I think that this is disgusting and horrible. And I am so sorry for Veruca that any of this happened. And also, you know, fuck Tasha. A 6-month-old baby died. It's not about you. Anyways, subscribe. I'll talk to you all later.